So anyway, I had to remove myself. I
Mm,
left.
mm.
And then I had to leave the house because I didn't
Right. I forgot about that. You
yeah,
left the
I had to leave the house.
you were so mad you left the
I had to
house.
leave the house because then this is where this parenting thing gets real tricky. When you stepped in,
Now you're
now
judging
I'm
my parenting. Now
yeah,
you're mad at me.
now I'm stuck between being upset with her, but then
Right.
also protecting her from your
Right.
wrath.
Right.
So
So let me speak my truth.
hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I am your host, Kainisha, or Nisha G, and I'm here with my husband.
Your husband. Mojito.
I feel like there should have been like an applause or something.
Why? You always say that. I can't reach the button from here.
It's fine.
I mean, you can always clap for me. Wow, that's weak. That's weak. That's
I don't know what you want me to do.
about as weak as your curls at the gym this morning.
My curls were not weak
Yeah,
this
they are
morning,
weak.
but whatever. Anyway, how's your week been?
Um, Uneventful. Nothing, just the best. I went to the chiropractor yesterday and it got corrected and that oh my
We had
god.
a family chiropractic day yesterday.
Oh
The
my
little
god.
the little even got a little minor adjustment
I'm
because
telling
she wanted
oh
to
my
be like me and him. She's
when
like,
he
I
cracked
want
my
I want
spine
one too.
and he cracked my spine out and all that pressure release, I said, this is what I've been waiting for. This is
I wouldn't say it was that
it
great,
was good for
but
me.
it was good for him. I
Especially
mean,
when I got my neck
my
cracked.
I got cracked just from stretching because that's just how tight I was. But
Tight.
like he was
Yeah, it was
just when
tight.
he was talking about like my shoulder blades, he was like, "Oh, you're really tight like in here." And I was like, "I'm always tight in there because that's where I hold my stress."
In
But
your shoulder blades?
in between
Okay.
in between my shoulder blades, like up the back of my neck, that's where I usually hold up my stress.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that was fun. It was fun just to like be as a family.
Yeah.
What else?
Um, what else? But about my week?
Yeah.
Not much happened this week. Really. I just worked a couple days, took a couple days off. Um, Nothing really comes to mind.
No. So really just an uneventful week.
I mean, that's it.
Well, I on the other hand,
Oh Lord, let's get into it. I see it's gonna get real.
first of all, I'm so tired. Let's just start
why are you
there.
tired, babe?
Like I know I hear it in my own voice cuz I could
Why
really
are you
just
tired,
like
babe? I'm normally the one tired.
I could just like take a nap like right now.
I'm down for that too.
Just take a nap. Like it's really taking everything in
Oh,
me
what if
right
we do
now.
a whole pot of was it AMFR?
ASMR.
We
Goodbye.
just sleep.
No. But it's taking like all of my energy right now
Like I
to
said,
stick it out.
your energy's been off for the last 3 days. It ain't just today. You ain't been
But
yourself.
but last night was I mean, we'll get into it, but I
Last
didn't
night was
get
a lot.
last night
That's
was a
why
lot.
that's why I was like,
And
let me take over.
yeah,
I can hear it in your voice. I said,
last
let me
night
take
was a lot and that's why I want to get into like or just have the conversation with you today. Like I was just like when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, I was like, the whole point of the pod is really just
to get it out.
to get it out and talk about the day-to-day things that we deal with in like marriage and parenting is a part of that partnership, relationship, you know what I mean? And I feel like last night was one of those moments where it was just a prime example of, real life
You
things.
wanted to hem her ass up. Keep it 100. You wanted to hem her up. She was on your nerves last night, boy.
Nerves, she wasn't even on my nerves. She was on like she was on the
She was
particles of my skin.
she was jumping up and down your sciatic last night, boy. I said, let me get up.
So, I
I
mean,
wasn't even sure about what was going on. I just heard I said, every time I said, "Oh, her tone is changing. Oh, it's done changed again." I said, "Let me get up, cause somebody finna get in
Well,
big
because
trouble."
you know me, like I don't like to, I don't want to like blow up at her, and I don't want to, deflect the way I'm feeling onto her and so on and so forth. But anyway, we'll get into that. But just really the whole week, I've also been trying to give her a lot of grace too, because she is getting back into her routine. She had a 3-week break, and
Going into a 3-day weekend.
right, right. So she had a pretty good break, but during the break I was still conscious to make sure that we did certain things. Like she still read, she still did some writing, like things like that, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want her to just like completely take a break off. And she did have a little bit more screen time than she normally does. And so like all this week she hasn't had any screen time, because like of course we're getting back into the routine of things, and she normally is allowed to get her iPad on Fridays, like, you know. So,
Mhm.
but she has been kind of pushing it, like even when we went to dance and we got to dance early, and she was like, "Oh, mom, can I have your phone?" And I was like, "No, you cannot." And she brought her book with her, and I was like, "You have your book. That's what you brought your book for. Like in case you got bored, you can sit there and read your book. You got a new book. You got new books for Christmas and all this other stuff." So I was
That
like,
means
"Just
she
read."
played me yesterday.
You let her have your phone?
She had your phone
How?
at the chiropractor when you went to the restroom. I didn't know.
Oh,
She
you mean
played.
when she picked it up?
No, she picked up and unlocked it, and
Yeah,
she was in
so
it.
when I had walked into the room, I don't know if you noticed, I know now I remember, because I told her she owed me 5 minutes in the corner. Because when I came in the room, she had my phone in her hand,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Were you looking at my phone?" And she was like, "Oh, I just opened your pictures," like that. And I said, "Okay, well, when we get home, you owe me 5 minutes in the
She didn't
corner,"
lie. Why she owe you 5 minutes?
because she's not supposed to have my phone at all.
Oh, I didn't know that. So she played me because she was like, "Dad, can I have your phone?" I was like, "No, get your mama phone."
Yeah. She wasn't supposed to have her phone and have the phone at all. Like, I don't understand, if she wasn't allowed to have her iPad, why would you think she could have the
I
phone?
didn't. But see, that's the thing. I didn't know
And
she.
you know that.
No, I didn't know she wasn't allowed to have her iPad till last night when everything happened last night, and I was laying the law down.
Babe, she doesn't get her iPad during the week.
Baby, I don't know what's going on in this house. I just work. This is your house. I just pay the bills.
That just reminded me of what she said that time when she was trying to tell you, when she was upset with me and she had called you, remember? And she was like, "She just wants to," what she said, "She just wants to run everything." Do you remember that?
Yeah, she wasn't wrong though.
She was like, "She just wants to run
She
everything."
wasn't
And
wrong.
you were like, "It's her house, Phoenix." And she goes, "It's my house."
No, it's your mama's house.
So anyway, that's a whole nother thing to get into. It's so yeah, so like the week has just been like trying to get back into the routine of things, and just life kind of getting to me a little bit, and
Used to
me
look good though.
trying to, oh, thank you, and me just trying to stay above water and not feed into the emotions that are there, and me not feed into like just crawling into a hole and saying deuces to you and her, and just like
Damn, what I do?
just crawling
What
into
did
the
hold on?
little
What did
little
I
hole.
do?
It's all of you.
It's only two of
It's
us.
okay,
What did
all
I
two of
do?
you. All two of
I didn't
you.
give you a hard time this week.
It's all two of you.
I'm trying to see if this lipstick you got on is waterproof.
It's exactly like I said, all two of you. So this is, you're literally not like, you're just proving my point. Just proving my point.
Did I want to test your lipstick out?
Um, so yeah, but other than that, the week was again uneventful. Just trying to get back into the routine of things, trying to get back on track with stuff, trying to get her ready for all that she has coming up.
Lord, her
In
schedule
yeah, in the
coming up
week,
is
in the
ridiculous.
next week or two. So
If anybody want a child, we got one. You can have. Her
no,
schedule is she's booked. She's fully booked.
I mean,
Monday through
you know,
Saturday. The only day she get off, she's off on Thursdays and Sundays.
yeah.
She,
Um,
she work.
so yeah, but let's go ahead and get into it.
I will say this
So
real for you.
go ahead.
I did enjoy us working out together the last couple of days.
Oh yeah, I always love
I know it was
us
short
working
lived
out
because it
together.
won't happen again. but
I like whenever we get time to work out together, I always like us
it only
working out
happened because I
together.
wasn't working, so it won't happen anytime soon again.
I mean, we can FaceTime.
No, we're not gonna be that couple.
Well, we don't go to the gym at the same times anyway.
We're not gonna be that couple. We're
But
not
I'm
gonna.
just saying, like, well, no, because I don't want to FaceTime with you at 4 a.m.
Right.
I mean, I'll be up because it's not like I get sleep around here. So
At 4 a.m.,
it's
you might like it because there's a bunch of buff dudes in there. You might like it.
it's not like I get any rest around this
Mm.
camp. So
You like turn the camera that way so I can see
I
over.
feel like I feel like I'm just bitterly talking
You are bad.
today.
You've been mad.
Because
You've been mad since
I'm
yesterday.
just really
You were irritated when at dinner. I don't. It happened. It started
I
sometime before.
wasn't irritated at
It
dinner.
started sometime before dinner yesterday, and then it's just like and then homework last night made it. It was the tip of the iceberg, and you've been in your mood ever since. But your energy been off since Wednesday, so I don't know what's going on.
It's life.
All right, let's get
It's
into it.
family.
Let's get into it.
Anywho, so with the week that I had, I was on social media and I was scrolling, of course, and
That's your
um
problem.
goodbye. And I came across this little clip and I'm gonna have you play the clip.
Right now,
Yeah, go ahead and play the clip.
y'all see how demanding she is.
Go ahead and play the clip.
We were talking about parenting and how parenting is hard, and I said it just kind of like clicked in my mind. I said parenting is only hard for good parents. Like that was a crazy moment, a realization where it's like, if you're not tired, then what the hell are you doing? If parenting's not hard, what are you doing? So many people out there that have it really hard and they're struggling, and I know they want the best for their children. They're doing everything they can, and I just want that to be a reminder to all those people that it's because you're a good parent. We were talking about parenting.
So I came across that clip and it was kind of like in the midst of me having what I call like my own little, not necessarily pity party, but for lack of better verbiage,
Breakdown.
my own little pity party, my own little breakdown or whatever. Um,
Breakdown.
so back a little backstory. Last night, I don't know.
No, no, no. It started Thursday night
Yeah, kind of
because
Thursday
last
night.
night was a continuation of Thursday night.
Yeah,
But
Thursday night.
go back to the beginning.
Okay, so Thursday night. Well, okay. So for Phoenix's homework, she gets homework like her homework for the week, right? And because she's so busy during the week, we break up her homework, which is also how her homework is given to us. So, like, Monday, she has her assignment for Monday, she has her assignment for Tuesday, she has her assignment for Wednesday, blah, 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 go on and so forth. And so I split up her work for her according to like her schedule or like depending on what type of work she has, and I know what she can get done or so I try to gear it toward her schedule. Anywho, she on Thursday she is getting more and more into writing assignments. Okay, so when we did our parent teacher conference, she or her teacher was letting us know that as far as ranking like within the class for test scores and everything like that, Phoenix is said like she's the number 2 student in the class. And one of her areas of opportunity that her teacher said would make her like
She sounds just like a manager. Mm-mm.
one of her areas of opportunity that could get her up that next level is her writing, right?
I don't believe
And
in that.
so, hold
I don't
on,
agree.
listen. So her teacher was saying she's number 1 when it comes to reading. In the class,
My baby
she's
reads.
the top reader, and that to me and to us made sense because we do a lot of reading in the house, and we read every single night. I mean, reading is a thing in our home, okay?
You
Um,
can't write no notes around Phoenix because she'll know exactly
yeah,
what it says.
right. That's what, yes, and we've come to the point where she can read our text messages and everything because reading is a thing in our house. Okay, so the teacher had told us like, okay, she's like the top reader in our class, but when it comes to writing, for her to read as well as she reads, the teacher was like, I expect that she should be able to write as well as she reads, right? And so she's like, I don't think it's a matter of her not knowing how to, put her words on paper or communicate. She was like, I think it's more of a like a motivation thing. You know, she was trying to say
She lazy.
she's lazy about it, right?
What
She was
she
like,
is.
which she it's not her favorite thing to
She
do.
gets it from her father.
It's not, and
She's
she has
not wrong.
said it to me. Phoenix has said it to me. She told me writing is boring. Those were her exact
And
words.
I agree.
Writing is boring.
I had the same mentality all through school.
So like even so
It's
on
boring.
Thursday, you know, like her homework now is getting geared more and more toward the comprehension, like reading, right? So now we have to make sure that yes, you know how to read, but are you able to understand what you're reading, and are you able to answer in complete sentences what you have read, right? So she had a writing assignment, and I mean, when I tell you we were struggling with that writing assignment because she could find the answer. It took her a little while to catch on to what it needed her to do about like how to find the answer as she's reading in the book. So it gave you like it was a scenario where it was like long ago households did this and now households did this, and you know how you got to fill in the blank. So it gave you the answer what they did long ago, and then you have to answer what they do now, right? But you could only do that through reading the book. So why do you look like you're falling asleep?
I'm
Okay,
listening
well,
to
that's rude. That just pissed me off. Your eyes were closed, and that just really irritated the crap out of me.
wow.
This is life after I do. That see shit like that, that just irritated me.
I was listening to
Okay, but I
you.
don't listen to me with your eyes closed.
Okay.
If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can see how wide his eyes are open now. I'm just telling you, my mama's mental state these past few days, it's
You've been
like
wilding, bro.
my patience is very thin. Like my patience is very thin right now,
No,
okay?
no, no. It's not
So
just your patience.
so just keep your eyes open when I'm speaking. Please.
Can I blink?
You can blink, but make it minimal. Thank you. Just enough to wet your eyeballs.
Go back into your story.
Okay,
You know,
so anyway.
you don't real damn. I didn't I wanted to just close my eyes and kind of
No,
like
no, don't close your eyes.
I was like going through something visually over here. I was
No,
trying to fix it, but okay,
no.
it's cool.
So, anyways, she is like, she's telling me the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's verbally telling me the answer. And
Uh-huh.
I said, yes, that's correct. Now write it onto the paper. And she's like, oh, oh, mom, but I don't have enough space. And I said, okay, so you have like 10,000 notebooks. I said, let's get a notebook. We'll use some ruled paper and you can write it on the paper. So then she's writing on the paper, and she is like, I can see that she's intentionally like writing some words bigger than others. Like when she put her period at the end of the sentence, she drew a whole nother O and then circled it in. It's not funny.
It
It
is.
isn't funny.
It's
So
funny
then,
because let
so
me tell you why it's funny.
why is it
Because
funny?
that's my child.
Okay.
Because that's me.
Okay, but it's not funny.
She
It's not funny. So I was trying to
she
explain to her.
she essentially let you know without telling you that she was not happy about the situation.
So I explained to her, I said, Phoenix, like I always do, I always tell her, the way you do anything is the way you do everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're not gonna get discouraged. We're not gonna get lazy about doing our writing. I said we're gonna erase that because I feel like you can do better, right? Like I try to be encouraging. I
Mm-hmm.
try, because I know that the more that I come, like if I come at her and come at her like do this, do that, and do it right, she's going to give me more pushback, and I'm not going to get the result that I need from her for her to do her work, right? So I was just like, I know you can do better than that, right? I was like, show me your best, like your best handwriting. So we erased it. And this went on forever. And mind you, it was only like three, she had to write altogether four complete sentences. That's it. It was just four complete
It was a
sentences.
struggle.
And that took us 2 days. 2 days.
She don't like
And so
writing.
it was a combination of um she was like, um, it's so boring.
And then it was I gotta go to the
And
bathroom.
then I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Like, she's a kid. She's 6. So she's trying to like pull out all the stops, right? So then it gets me to the point where it's always like this dance in my mind because I'm stuck between wanting to be the authoritarian, which, like, just you need to sit down and get your freaking work done. Right?
Sometimes you just gotta be mean daddy.
Okay, but I've been stern with her. Like I can be stern
No,
with her. I was stern with her, but I'm not gonna downright just
you're
like,
lovingly stern. You
okay,
ain't stern with her.
okay.
I gotta drop the foot.
But she was able to muster out those two sentences, but it was
4.
like, no, the two for Thursday, but it was like pulling tooth and nail. So here comes, or for, yeah, it started within, what's that, Wednesday then, because today's Friday. So yeah, Thursday, yesterday. So then we came to yesterday. Now, yesterday we had to finish the remainder of what we had to get done.
Which
And
should have
on
been done the
top
day
of
before.
this, and on top of this, she still has a spelling test to study for. Okay, that she's been familiar with her words all week, but like, it's the night before and we always have a little routine of going through our spelling words and doing the pretest and all this other stuff. So I'm trying to explain to her that you need to get this done in a timely manner because we have to study for your spelling test so that you can, get a great spelling test. Phoenix brings home an A spelling test every week,
I'm not confident in this week.
every week. Like, we don't even like expect it not to have a star on it. We don't expect for it not to have a sticker on it. Like, she all her bonus words, her sentences, she brings that spelling test home and we're like, of course it's an A. I didn't expect anything different. This week, I don't know what we're gonna get. I don't know what we're gonna get because she sent us through the ringer last night. So
Show yourself.
she was going through it. I started going through it. We're having a meltdown, and she's crying, and she's throwing a fit, and she's talking about how we don't love her, and she's talking about this is torture, and and then she's picking up. I know that the older that she's getting, and the more around awareness that she's having around her surroundings, especially when it comes to her peers and other kids at school, because I'm starting to see the difference in the language that she uses, right? And I know that only comes from
Other
other
kids.
kids. It's
I've
only
been
because
called
of
so
being
many
around
names
other
I don't
kids.
understand.
Yes, and it's like that's not even a part of your verbiage. So
Yeah.
where did you even get that from? And
Ooh.
then she'll say something like, "Oh, well, mom, guess what? Mila taught me." Or I'll be like, "We don't do that here." Like,
Yeah.
we
I
do.
will say shout outs to whoever taught her Pikachu because
Goodbye.
I like Pikachu.
Goodbye.
That's my
So
favorite
anyway,
game.
I was getting to the point last night where
No, you got to the point.
I was starting to feed into the annoyance and anger that it was causing me, right? And I didn't want to feed into it to a point where, like, I just downright was like yelling and screaming at her. So I was just like, you know what, Phoenix? Like, when she gets to a certain part like that, that's when we need to take a break, right? Because if I keep badgering her about it, it doesn't make the situation better.
Such
But
a good
when
mom.
I start to, like, shut down a little bit, she also recognizes and feels that. And then I think part of that is
I don't want to
her
break your
feeling
heart.
like, yes, exactly. That's what she says. Like, I don't want to break your heart. You know what I mean? So I had told her, I said, you know what, Phoenix? I said, mommy's gonna walk away right now. I was like, I just have to
I want
walk
to be
away
a
right
good
now.
daughter.
And that's when she starts that, I just want to be a good daughter. I don't want to be a bad daughter. And we're just going back and forth. And so then she's like sitting at the table, and then you can hear her like talking, and she's like, my parents are so upset with me.
And I wasn't even aware of the situation at the time. I don't know how
So
I was upset.
upset with me. But before
Why
that,
am I
like,
always in the crosshairs when I ain't involved?
when I had walked away, I mean, she had a whole meltdown. I'm talking on the ground, on her knees, on her back, kick, scream, pulling her hair, screaming at the top of her lungs, like the whole shebang.
And that's what made me get up. I'm like, what is going on out
Because
here?
and the thing is I think what really kind of caught me off guard is, even as a toddler, she never threw fits like that. Like,
These terrible sixes, huh?
never threw fits like that. So then in my mind, I'm like, okay, she's feeling a lot of emotion, right?
Mhm.
Because she's like literally sitting here on her knees, pulling on her hair and screaming. And I'm just like, what in the world is happening? We do the same thing every week. Like her schedule is down like clockwork. Never do I have really any issues with her, especially when it comes to doing her homework or keeping her schedule or whatever. But this week, the only thing I can think of and chalk it up to is just trying to get back on track because she had such a long break.
To like
And before even when she had the break, like in kindergarten, it was kindergarten. So I mean her work wasn't like, I guess you could say, as rigorous as it's becoming, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, you've done the same thing every week. So anyway, I had to remove myself. I
mm,
left.
mm.
And then I had to leave the house because I didn't
Right. I forgot about that. You
yeah,
left the
I had to leave the
you
house.
were so mad you left the
I had to
house.
leave the house because then this is where this parenting thing gets real tricky. When you stepped in,
Now you're
now
judging
I'm
my parenting. Now you're
yeah,
mad at me.
now I'm
That's a
stuck between being upset with her, but then
right.
also protecting her from your
Right.
wrath.
Right.
So
So let me speak my truth since you don't talk your part. So as my wife just detailed very detailedly, uh I get up and I say, what the heck is going on out here? So I get up and I'm a apprised to the situation. And so I was like, you know what? I got it. I got it from here. I said, don't worry about it. I said, because I'm looking at my wife and I could tell she's spent. It's
and then wait, just
it's
really quick on top of that, I had meant to say I was also trying to clean the house, do laundry, put stuff away.
right.
I was also trying to do other things.
While I play Call of Duty. Um, I had to say that.
You probably shouldn't have. You probably shouldn't have, but okay.
I had did my chores for the day. Anyway,
Shouldn't have
uh
said that either.
um so I step out and I'm like, okay, let me take over. And I'm like, I'm talking to her, I get her to calm down a little bit to where we can actually talk.
Till she
Now
fired right back up.
and then we're talking, and then she fired right back up. I was like, all right, go to the corner. And then she stumps to the corner. And I say, look here.
No, she almost put a hole
I
through the
said,
second story
I
of her
said,
house.
look here. I done told you before about something in my house. I said, you will lose your feet. Something in my house
And
again.
then here I am on the side in the room,
Like,
like trying to
listen,
whisper to him because I don't want to try to correct him in front of her. So then I'm
you
like,
can't correct me anyway.
yeah, well, listen. So I was like, don't talk to her like that. You can't talk to her like
So she's sitting in the corner, and I then explained to her, like I always explain to her,
that. Aggressively.
okay, because at this point she needs aggression.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because she needs to understand
Okay.
the hierarchy.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm explaining to her, Phoenix, school comes first, as we have told you many times. And since you are not able, or you do not want, no, it's not that you're not able. Since you do not want to do your homework, you just won't be able to do things you want to do tomorrow
Because another component to this is because she wanted to go downstairs
in
and
practice.
practice gymnastics. So she legit has like a whole little gym downstairs. Because we've added, multiple pieces to her little gymnasium. And so she's always really excited to go to her gym, and she had asked if she could have 20 minutes to practice. And I told her you could have 20 minutes to practice after you finish your schoolwork.
So anyway, eventually we got to the point to where she did actually end up finishing and studying a little bit, and then she finished up studying this morning, and she actually spelled most of the words correctly. We don't know if it's going to stick with her, but she spelled most of the words correctly. But it was a thing where it was one of those things where she's upset to the point to where she's not comprehending what we're saying,
Yeah, she can't
because
hear you anymore.
she gets in this mode to where all she cares about is what she wants. She's not going to comprehend what she has to do to get what she wants. She just knows that she wants to do something, and that there's something blocking her from doing what she wants to do. And it just got to a point where she had ex expended so much of my wife's energy to the point to where I was like, "Okay, I like," because I know, like, this doesn't happen often. This is not like an often thing. This is not
Yeah,
something that
that's why
happens
it kinda
all the
threw
time,
me it threw me for a
and
loop.
that's why, like, I was like, so when I walked out, I was like, "I don't understand what's going on." But to turn it back to the clip, like, what he said is true because, like, if we didn't care, we could have like, "All right, fine, let's go practice, whatever. You just won't you'll turn in incomplete work." Right? So, it is a little harder on us, I believe, because, I wouldn't say that we're gentle parenting, but we're doing like a hybrid hybrid because sometimes we do lay down the law, but we try to be cognitive of her feelings and her emotions and not be so harsh with her. But there are times where it gets to the point to where, okay, talking to you is not working. I'm gonna have to show you something. Like, and when
Yeah.
and I will say that our daughter, she can be, not always, but can be very, very sensitive about things. So you have to be sometimes you really have to be careful how you say things to her and what you say because she'll take things
She
and
takes it to the heart.
Lord, it's like you daggered her.
But I would say, like, okay, with the gentle parenting, I know for us or for me,
We don't do that.
um, it's not gentle parenting is not the like holding of the hands of children, right? It's not like just talking to them softly or anything like that. It's about making sure they're aware of certain boundaries and making sure you can implement and enforce them, but in a way that they can understand it and in a way that they also have a space to voice their
Right,
opinion
right.
and voice their emotions, right?
Mhm.
It's not just about you just do what I say and you shut up about it. And
Ooh,
then as you get older, then I'll allow you to have a voice because that's a skill that I want her to be able to exercise. I want it to be normal for her to express how she feels verbally, right?
no,
And I want her to know that, like even when I told her last night when I was trying to calm her down for bed, um that just because you get disciplined and just because you don't get your way, it doesn't mean that you are loved any less. If anything, it's because I love you more, because this is something that you may not understand now, but you're
no,
going to understand it later. Do you know
right,
what I
right.
mean? But I think what really got to me last night was it's the mental that I get kind of tossed up about
You were
because
stressed,
I was stressed, but I was also
but then
I
again,
I
you should have.
internalize parental guilt. You know how they say there's mom guilt, dad guilt? It's a parental guilt because when I look at her and I look at her that frustrated, in my mind, I'm thinking, one, I'm really upset. Like if I really just did not care, I would grab you by your shirt and let you have it. That's one. That's one, right? Then on the other hand, it's like, what is it about my communication to you that is giving me this reaction?
Mhm.
Okay? Then from that, it's how how like me as your mom, am I doing that of a shitty job that I'm getting this type of response from my child?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's, I don't want to say things like, you're disappointing me, or this is, you're acting bad, or, I'm going to whoop your ass and all this other stuff, because then it's for me, in my mind, I'm making my emotions her responsibility. And the way I feel is not her responsibility. That's not her responsibility. Okay.
Well,
So
you know what?
aside from her just throwing the fit, all of this is going on in my mind. And then I start to internalize it about my parenting. Then I internalize it about me as a person and me as a mom. And am I doing a good job? And what have I done wrong up until this point? And how could I have been better? Have I overdone it here? Have I
Mom
not
guilt, huh?
overdone it here? Have I shifted her focus so far that, you know what I mean? Like all of these things come up, and I don't know if that happens for you, but that happens for me. So like when you saw me last night and you're like, you came in and you took over because you can see that I'm stressed. You probably think I'm just stressed because
Oh,
of the
no.
actions that are happening now,
I know that
but
you're internalizing things.
it's all of the my own my own trauma, my own childhood trauma, my own interactions with my own parents. All of that stuff comes up, and I think it's not talked about enough, or maybe it is, about parenting can be very reflective.
Mm,
Parenting can be a mirror, just like marriage is a mirror. Parenting can be a mirror because when you think about your parenting, the first thing you think about is your own upbringing,
mhm.
right? You think about the interactions you had with your mother and with your father, and you think about the things that you probably didn't get emotionally from your parents or physically from your parents. And so, therefore, naturally for you, you want to try to overcompensate in that area, right? So, like for me, when I say like my feelings are not her responsibility, I don't want to make her feel guilty or make her feel some type of way because I feel bad. And I feel bad because her lack of action. Do you know what I mean? Because yes, I want to, I want her to know that I am proud of her and everything like that, but I also don't want her to think that the only time I'm going to interact with her or give her love or show her love of how she perceives it is if she's like doing all the things that I want her to do. You know what I mean? Like I'm only going to get love if I do really good in school. I'm only going to get love if I perform really well. Like I don't want
I mean, you'll get extra love.
can't stand you. But but
You're always gonna get the baseline, but you
I
get that.
don't want I don't want to put that type of pressure on her.
Mhm,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that to be the basis of what she perceives her mother's love to be. Her
mm.
mother's love is non-transactional because I'm going to love her regardless.
Her father's love as well.
Okay, but what I'm saying
Don't be
is
discount me over here.
what I'm not discounting you. I'm speaking of my experience.
Can I say something?
What?
I was a little irritated with you last night.
Why? Cuz I left?
Not because you left,
Oh.
because you let it get to that point.
I let it get to that point?
Yes. Because I mean, you allowed yourself to get to that level of frustration. I felt like you
I
knew
didn't allow myself to get
you've
to
done it
that.
before, and I this is what I expect for you is because before she gets all hoorah, you normally come to be like, and you tap me in. Hey, I need you to do this. Like you didn't do that last night. You let her get to you last night. You
No,
let the situation get to you
no,
last night.
it's not that I let it get
And
to me.
hold on,
Before I got to a point where I would feel worse, I had to step back. I'm
but
not
what
gonna,
I'm
but
saying
because I'm
is you
not gonna
normally
sit there and scream and yell at my child like that.
I know
I'm
you're
not gonna
not,
do that.
but what I'm
I'm gonna
saying
step away
is
before I get to that point.
what I'm saying is that you normally tap me in before that if I'm around.
And I didn't have to because you heard in the
I heard,
background.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so then you came in
right,
and
and
you took
right,
over the second half of the game.
and she knows that when I show up, it's a different energy because I tell her all the time, what you're not gonna do is disrespect my wife. She may be your mother, but that's my wife, and that's where it is. I love you, but I love my wife. So, and it gets I understand the guilt and all that because like I said before, I had dad guilt all the time because she thinks that all dad does is work and go to the gym. So, I don't get credit for anything else because that's how she identifies, my life. Dad just pays for stuff. Dad has money. That's how she says it. So it's like I understand that it can be hard. And even when you're talking about being a reflection of your parents, um, I think that's very true because in a lot of ways I try to overcompensate for the things I was lacking. That's why I try to be at everything. I try to be at every event, every award. I try my best. As long as it is not going to impact us financially, I'll take the day off and I'll go, or I'll take the time off and I'll go. But it's just like I understand that you know in those situations, it is hard to navigate because you're fighting with your own emotions and trying to deal with the situation. And I will say that we are very good at always explaining to her
Oh yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
why something happened, why something's gonna happen, why you got this
Mhm.
consequence, and what we expect from you moving forward. So it's not like we just, I don't want to say chastise, but it's not
Or
like we
just
just,
lay down the
yeah,
law.
like we explain to her, this, you did this, this, and this. This is the consequences for that. And this is what mommy and daddy expects of you. If you don't do this, you don't get that. It's very simple.
It's really
We
simple.
make things very black and white
Yeah.
for her. And we makes it where if you ask her, she'll tell you, I didn't do this, so I can't do this. And it's
Mhm.
not, and when it happens, she's like, she understands, and she's not mad about it, but I can also see when she doesn't get something that she wants because she didn't come follow through on her part, she is sad about it.
Yeah,
And
because
then
what
she
we do
starts to
is
beat herself down.
we reflect back. We literally walk it through. Like what I do with her is I literally walk her through each step that led up to the reason why she either didn't get something or something didn't go the way she wanted it to. And when she talks it out herself, then it's like you see it in her. She's like, okay, like, I get it.
I messed up.
It was me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because like I always tell her, we all have to take accountability. We all have to be responsible to our choices. Just like this morning, she did her pretest. She didn't do bad on the pretest. She did good on the pretest. And I was just trying to explain to her, I say, don't you want to be proud of yourself? That's what I always say. Not just to make me proud, because you're not going to be a child in my house forever. And at some
Lord, I
point
hope
you're
so.
going to have to like, and I know some people will probably think like, "Oh, that's thinking too far into it," but it's really not. Some point she's going to have to live her life for herself, and it's she's going to have to be able to make herself proud. And
Mhm.
she's going to have to be proud of the choices and decisions that she has made, not just to make me happy. Right? Like, I
Mhm.
already learned my sight words. I know my sight words. I can read and write.
Do you?
Like I told her this morning, I said, Mommy and Daddy, we can read and write. We know our sight words. We know how to make a complete sentence. You need to make sure
Mhm.
that you're staying up to par, and we do our best to support you in that.
Part part of the issue is, especially with last night, is that we do put an emphasis on letting her be independent. And a lot of times that works against us because she pushes that independence, right? We give her the option of choose, choose what you want to wear. What do you want to eat for breakfast, or what do you want for dinner? Or so excuse me. So we give her a lot of choices to where she can
To
navigate. Na
increase that
Right,
skill of
right,
knowing how to make
right,
a
so she can
decision.
navigate her own life,
Mhm.
and also teach her, like, the weight of responsibility and follow through. Like,
Mhm.
this is the decision that you've made, you have to follow through with it, so a
And we
lot.
don't just give up because it's boring or hard.
Right, and so a lot of times when I wouldn't even call it talk back, but a lot of times when she's like, "I just wanna talk to you," like, because she
And
want
that's what she
like,
says.
she talks, and she'll talk to us
Mhm.
to try to understand fully
To get a better
what's
understanding.
going on, and
Exactly.
it's not like, like, in the olden days, like, "Oh, a child shouldn't talk back," or what you said. No, that's not how we do things here. Like, we're gonna explain to our daughter, and then we're gonna have a conversation with her so that she understands what is expected and all that, right? And so I think so far by us doing this, it has been a great benefit to her and to us because a lot of times, even when she has to be, reprimanded for something, she understands it off bat. I didn't do this, so yeah, I understand. I'm not, and a lot of times she won't even ask for stuff because she knows to know. I didn't have a good day, so I know I'm not gonna get
Mhm.
this. Like
Mhm.
I understand.
Or
I
she
understand.
tells on herself.
Yeah.
Like when I pick her up from school if she didn't have a great day, cuz we always talk about like our day, and she'll tell me, she'll be like, "Mom, I lost my recess today." "Why did you lose your recess today, Phoenix?" "Because I didn't finish all my morning work." "Okay, Phoenix. So that was your consequence for not finishing your morning
Hmm.
work." "Yes." "Okay." So at that point, I'm not going to further discipline her because she already was disciplined, right? So we can have a conversation as to why it's important to do your morning work. And just like when her teacher told me the same thing after Phoenix had already told me. She was like, I did take away her recess because she didn't finish her morning work. And I was like, okay. She told me the conversation that her and Phoenix had. I ensured her that I would reinforce the conversation. Phoenix and I had the conversation, explained to her how important it is, and vice versa. And if this continues, then we're gonna move, the consequence is gonna get even more
Even
severe
greater.
past that.
Yeah.
And literally the next day, the teacher had pulled me to the side when I picked her up from school, and she was like, she had a perfect day today. She had a perfect day today.
Because
Like, it
art
didn't take me like having to talk down at her, yell at her, whoop her, and all this other stuff
no,
because
it don't take
she
that.
lost recess at school. But I say that all that to say, like how you were saying, I feel like we've created a good environment for her to feel comfortable to
Mhm,
have the conversation. Now, granted, there are times where we have to just say, like, because we said so, Phoenix.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's not
Because it's about your safety.
because it's about your safety,
This
or
is
it's something that even if we explain it to you, it's not gonna make sense for you because you don't understand the back end part of it. You know what I'm saying? So we do have moments where we have to just be like,
yeah.
Phoenix, do it.
And I think, I mean, I'm not trying to toot our horn, but I think we've done a good job of setting a standard that she sees. And so she doesn't like, because I've seen her come home and have papers are not done. And she won't hand those to us because she knows that's going to be a conversation. But if she comes home, everything that's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 is perfect. Oh, she'll hand those to us right away.
Hmm.
Right away. And but if I'm like, Phoenix,
She'll take
what
her time,
I
like
said,
taking paper
yeah.
out of her backpack.
I said, "Phoenix, what's this? Why you didn't finish this?" "Oh, I didn't finish it." I said, "Why you didn't finish it?" "I just ran out of time." "Okay, so I know if you ran out of time, you were either talking or playing."
Hmm.
You know
You
what
weren't
I'm saying?
managing
You
your
know what I'm
time
saying? So
correctly.
there is a standard that has been set, and she realized that,
Yeah.
and it does affect how she moves because clearly she she's not going to go out of her way to display things that are incomplete.
Right.
So she understands that. And, you know, it's not that, I believe we have a great child. She's
I do
she's
too.
she is she's a very loving, affectionate, caring person.
And she doesn't give us a ton of
She does
problems.
she
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 re
she
she
really
really
she
doesn't.
she really
Like,
doesn't.
she is really
It's
a good
just
kid.
it's just that when the bomb goes off,
It she's
it goes off.
it goes all the
It goes
way
all the way off.
off.
So to other parents out there, it's not abnormal to be
No, and I
tested.
know she's
And
going
it
through a
and
transition
right,
too. Like,
right,
as she's getting older,
right,
she's becoming more aware of like the world around her.
right.
And she's becoming more aware of the differences in people and opinions and things like that. And I can also tell that because of how the questions that she asks,
And
or
she's been 7 since the first.
oh, she's been yeah,
It's 2024, I'm 7. That's not how it
Since
works.
January 1st, she's been 7.
It's not how it
That's
works.
all she keeps talking about is how she wants to be. She's like, "Mom, so for my birthday, we're gonna have it at Kids Empire for because I'm gonna be 7. Because I'm gonna be
She done planned
7."
her party already.
And I'm like, Phoenix, I know when you're gonna be 7. I was there. I was there. I'm the one who told you when you're gonna be 7, August 15th.
But not
And
but not her inviting people to her birthday party.
yes, she did. At the birthday party that neither one of us has paid for yet. So she's already invited people to the birthday party, but we don't know if the party is going to be there because we haven't made any deposits. And she's already said when it's going to be and where it's going to be. So I
Mm.
mean, we're just following her lead on
She
that.
telling everybody, "Get your gift ready."
But yeah, so she is she's getting to the point where she is becoming aware of her surroundings and people's and opinions and how the world works. And I can understand that it can probably be a little confusing, and she's gonna test the boundary. Your eyes are closed again.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
I was thinking about something.
Don't
Sorry.
don't do it.
Sorry.
And she's asking a lot more questions. Like, she comes to me every night before we go to bed. She'll be like, "Mom, can I talk to you about something?" And I'm like, "Of course." Like, I even when I'm tired or whatever, I never tell her no when she comes to me and she says, "Can I talk to you about something?" It's always yes. Like,
Mhm.
always yes, because that's the type of relationship I would like to
Yeah, you
foster
want her to be
with her.
comfortable talking
I
about
want
anything.
her to be comfortable to talk about whatever it is and express herself however she needs to. So, um to kind of wrap it up a little bit, like last night After all of this happened, we finished homework, we studied spelling words. It came time to go to bed, and she was throwing a fit because we told her she couldn't come into our room because now she's like really, really tired. Right. So I just told her, go to her room for a little bit, cool down. Of course, that didn't happen. She threw a whole fit. We both let her throw her
This
fit
is
for
fit
about
number 5
15. Yeah,
at
we,
this
we
time.
let her throw her fit for about 15, 20 minutes because for one, I also know that she's gonna be tired as heck because that takes a lot of energy to throw a fit. And fit throwing is exhausting.
You should know you throw them often.
Goodbye. So after that, I went into her room and I just calmed her down and I had her breathe and just had her tell me what was going on. I was like, however the words come out, just how are you feeling? What is going on, Phoenix? And she's just like, um, we didn't do our reading because we read every night. Like I told you, it's a how we read a lot in this house. And I said, well, we haven't done the reading because you haven't calmed down. So you're not gonna be able to hear me if we're reading because you're sitting here screaming at the top of your lungs. And she's like, she starts to tell me about like how she was sorry that she hurt my feelings and that me and her dad were so upset with her
Mhm.
and she just wanted to be close to us and she just needs us to be a family. And then she looks at me and she goes, Mom, and she's never said this before, and she goes, Mom, I just want to make it right, like in those exact words.
Mm.
She was like, Mom, I
I
just
must have been
want to
asleep
make
by
it.
that part.
She was like, I just, you were in the room. I think you were watching your show.
Don't
And
say it like that. What? My
what?
anime?
Your anime, your show, whatever.
Wow,
And
hater.
she's like, Mom, I just want to make it right. And I was like, I said,
You can make it right
Phoenix.
by studying the damn spelling words.
I said, Phoenix, that is fine. I said, nothing is wrong, like wrong per se, but the way you behaved just to do your homework was not
Out of
acceptable.
pocket.
And I said, we can express our frustrations in a better way. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be annoyed. It's okay to be mad. I said, but how you control yourself is everything. And I know that's hard for you because you don't necessarily have the language or the skill or know how to really reel that in, and you're still little. I said, but that's why me and daddy, we try to help you with that. That's why we always don't talk until we can calm ourselves down, until we can breathe, until you take a minute. I said, that's why we always give you a minute so you can calm down, you can breathe, you can collect your thoughts, and then what do? We talk. We talk.
Mm.
But when you're screaming, no one can hear you because you can't even hear yourself. So we had this long, long conversation, and then I asked her, I said, do you need a hug? And she was like, yes. She just broke down. She was like, yes,
Don't be
I need
imitating
a
my girl.
hug.
Don't do my girl like that.
I need a hug. And I
Don't.
gave her a hug and like literally for me as well, like after her and I talked, we legit talked for probably about 15, 17 minutes before bed.
Yeah, cause I was asleep by the
Just
time you came
about
back.
and we talked about all the way from what was that Wednesday when we first started doing the work. And, she was explaining to me about, it was just boring and she didn't want to do it. And then I explained to her why it's important to do it. And she was like, okay, I'm going to, we went through the whole shindig. And after that, I could see the tension and the stress kind of like she just relaxed. And then I gave her a hug and I just held her and she just relaxed. And then it also did something for me too. Like we were able to kind of
It
get back
re-energized you.
it get back on like a good surface, you know what I mean? But I just reiterated to her like it doesn't matter. Like mommy and daddy love you regardless. I said there's nothing you can do that will ever make me not love you.
Mhm.
Nothing. Like nothing. If I think of the worst thing you could possibly do in this world, I would still love you. And she was like, "Are you sure?" That's what she always says. "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm positive." But it doesn't mean that you're not going to get disciplined.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to, be in trouble at times. That's not what that means. That's not what love is. It's not going to feel good all the time, Phoenix. That's not how that works. And even when you are disciplined, you are still loved.
Always.
Always, right? So like for me when heard that clip, it's outside of, the taking care of her physically and providing shelter for her and feeding her and all that stuff. Yeah, you can look at parenting and be like, okay, that could be the easier parts of them, but the difficult parts I think are the internal parts. It's the internal, I guess, undealt with trauma that you have to deal with as a person and as a parent, and knowing and understanding the weight and responsibility of being responsible for and to someone who has to grow up in society and ensuring that they are the best prepared to go out into the world someday without you.
Mhm.
That's the part that's hard. That's the part that's hard because someday she's going to be someone's mom, or she's going to be someone's wife, or she's going to be someone's employer, or you know what I mean? And that's what I constantly think about that because I know that all of those things start now,
Mhm.
right? Like when you start with therapy, what are the first things they ask you?
Mhm.
Tell me about your childhood.
It was great.
Tell me about your childhood, right? Because you start forming a lot of your self identity in these years.
It was great. Very uneventful.
Goodbye. So, yeah, but I'm happy we got through it. Today is Friday.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God. Today is Friday.
She's still doing homework today.
Well, she's not gonna get homework today,
Oh,
so
I'm
she
gonna give her
doesn't.
some.
Oh well. But yeah, so today is Friday, so at least we get to kind of again take a little break from that, and then we'll see how next week goes. I hope that this was just a one off because, like I said, we're coming off of a 3 week break. So I'm hoping next week, it's like week number two, excuse me, we can get back into the rhythm of things and everything can kind of die down and go back to being how it was
Hit
and
the ground running.
hit the ground running. Yeah, so we'll see. You all right?
Yeah. Just make sure my eyes are open.
Yeah, because that was kind of rude.
I guess I'm gonna sit down and get a hug later so we can be on the same surface.
Really? You thought that was funny to say, huh?
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to be on the same surface with you. Test out that lipstick.
Anywho, let's hop into our 2 cents.
Mm.
Okay. So the title of this one is My Son Gets Bullied About His Height. Ooh. Okay.
Welcome to being a man.
I would love others' advice on this. My son is 11, he's in middle school, and the shortest boy in his class. He told me that every day he gets bullied about his height, with kids saying mean things and making fun of him. Three kids in particular are especially mean to him, including one boy who lives on our street and who used to be friends with him. My son has complained at times to his teacher, but had nothing, but this has still continued. After after talking it out together, he said that he would tell the teacher every time they said something about his height or said something negative to him, which is almost every day. I wonder if I should address this with the teacher or the principal, or directly with the kid on the street who lives with his parents. I really want to go up to the kid who has been to our house many times and tell him to cut it out, or I'll go to the school and his parents and make his life miserable. But I'm sure that crosses the line. Or does it? If this was bullying based on any other characteristic, I'm sure it would not be tolerated by the school. But somehow this doesn't seem to be taken so seriously. What should I do? First of all form of bullying should be taken seriously, especially with the climate that we live in nowadays with kids. Um, I know that we had an incident where our school district just settled a $27 million settlement with parents of a bullied child because his bullying resulted in his death at school. And that was just from them pushing him and he hit his head and the child died. So all forms of bullying, in my opinion, should be taken seriously. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
I would also say that if he's short, Get used to it. You gotta have you have to be grow some thick skin and be funny.
Okay, but that's not the point. That's not the
No,
question
no,
we're
he
asking.
should no, no.
We're talking
He
about
shouldn't.
the seriousness of him being
He
bullied.
shouldn't be bullied, and the school should do something about it. But the harsh reality of it is the teacher can't hear everything, and it's all going to be hearsay because the other kids are not going to admit to it, and that's going to be the stance of the school.
But that's what she's
So
saying.
if you
She
want,
bring it to their attention.
she should bring it to attention. But what she should do is tell her son in the meantime to hit the motherfucker in the jaw,
No, let's not do that. That's not.
bust him in his lip until it turned to white.
No, don't listen to him because he's for one not being serious.
I'm being dead
So,
serious.
I would say when it comes to your child, it doesn't it doesn't matter. Like
You don't
whether
play.
it's serious or whether you think it's that serious or not that serious, putting somebody on notice so that you have that, that foundation
Hmm.
in the event that this escalates or something happens, and the school knows that, hey, back in January, I came to you guys, the principal and the teacher, and I made you aware that there was a situation happening with my son and three additional boys here at the school where they were bullying him based on his height. And he has been having issues with them because we don't know how that's going to escalate. You don't know how that's going to escalate at all. Do you know what I mean? It could be them joking now to them starting to like pick on him physically, to them starting to be more aggressive physically, to them now playing dangerous pranks on him that could result in him getting hurt. Like
Hmm.
you don't know how that's going to escalate. And so he's in the school's care most of the time. Kids that go to school are with the school more than they're like at home. So, yes, you should. And the short answer is yes, you should notify the school. You should notify the principal. If the one of the little boys lives on your street, go knock on the door and speak to his parents. Bring your son with you, and you and your son talk to the boy's parents. Put the parents on notice so that they know that their child is a bully,
Hmm.
right? So that we can try to get to some type of resolve.
Right, because the thing is that he's coming to you and he's confiding in you, so he's gonna want some type of results if you
Right.
want
Otherwise, he wouldn't say
or
anything to you.
and you're gonna want to try to produce some type of results if you want him to continue to confide in you in the
Right.
future.
And show him that you still do you do have his back, right? And the thing is too, she said he was 11, I think.
Hmm.
He's probably not even telling you everything.
Hmm.
He's telling you just enough to get you to have some action on his behalf because he doesn't know what to do. But that's probably not even they are probably doing things like pranking him or hitting him or doing other things like that. But that's what he felt comfortable enough to come and tell you to see if, like if you can get some action behind it so that it can stop. So
Hmm.
that other people are aware that he is being bullied or that he's being made to feel uncomfortable at school. So yes, in the short answer, notify the school, notify the principal, the teacher, the parents of the students, have a meeting, call a meeting with the other two boys' parents and the principal and get everybody in a room, get it all documented and go from there.
And then give your son the green light to throw them hands.
If he is provoked.
Throw them
If
hands.
if they touch you, you defend yourself. That's just what we teach our
I
daughter.
guarantee
We
you,
teach our daughter if somebody hits you, somebody
you
hits you
knock them the
intentionally,
out.
what do? You ball your fists up, you pick a spot and you hit them as hard as you can. And then her favorite part was like, "What do you tell them?" What she tell them?
Keep your damn
Keep your
hands to
damn hands
yourself.
to yourself.
And she put emphasis on that
She
damn.
always do, because we gave her permission to say "damn" in that instance. Because I always tell her if somebody hits you and you have to defend yourself, what do? You ball up your fist and you hit them somewhere as hard as you can, and then you say, "Keep your damn hands to yourself."
And I'm just saying to the little boy, he won't talk to you if he missing teeth. Because he don't want to be made fun of.
Bye. Anywho, if you're not already doing so, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Life After I
Only
Do
pans.
podcast. What?
Only pans.
Bye, Maurice. at Life After I Do podcast. You can also reach out to us at lifeafteridopodcast@gmail.com. You get a new episode every Wednesday. So until next time.